Chance and then you blew it.
That is the most absurd statement of the year.
Nice. Nice.
Oh, baby.
I'm in my zone. I'm feeling it.
Live from West St. Paul Studios, it's time for MinneZona Sports Live with DJ Matty C and Paul the Shield Vogt.
And this is MinneZona Sports Live. We are back, yes. Episode 267. No, I'm not doing that whole deal what the kids are doing now. But that's just what we have. That's the episode number. So it's legit. That's all we got to say. Anyway, without further ado, I'm your host, DJ Matty C, a.k.a. Matt Kelly, a.k.a. Matty C, a.k.a. Kelly, etc., etc., etc. And all the way in Granite City Studios in St. Cloud, Minnesota, Paul Vogt, the Shield. What's going on there, Shield?
You know, if you ever want to feel like more of an athlete, non-athlete at the same time, just imagine this situation with me, if you will. Tuesday morning, 5:30 in the morning, walking out my front door. Full, no hesitation, just full send, walking out the door like normal. And about for a 15, 20, 25-foot stretch, it is just glare ice out there. Didn't even think about it, and I was doing a full Three Stooges, Looney Tunes.
I know where this is going.
Just a full, I got one foot going this way, one going the other way, arms flailing around like a bad Scooby-Doo, episode going on, but I did not fall. I landed on my feet, and at one point here, I go from the top of the sidewalk down to the ground on the in the parking lot, did not fall. So I somehow Tony Hawk pro skatered my way to safety, and then I walked the rest of the way to my car, and I'm just like, that is how my day is going to go, and it only got better from that point. But we are here. We are in one piece. I don't think any muscles pulled, or maybe I'm just in so much pain I can't even feel anything anymore. But nonetheless, we got a great show.
We do have a great show lined up. I'm glad you're okay. I mean, that's not pleasant.
Yeah. I'm fine. I'm just being dramatic.
That's an athletic move to stay on your feet, though.
Yes, right. And I was wearing boots as well. Full winter boots, not
that'll do it.
I'm glad to be here and in one piece.
So we're glad that you are. That's for sure. So, and without further ado, we welcome Mikey Ryne back to the show. Mikey, welcome back. It's time. It's time to talk the whole season and the recap, the game, the storylines, the whole deal, Mikey. So we're looking forward to chatting about that.
Oh yeah, excited to be here. Excited to be back. It's been a while.
It has been a while. It has. You're a busy guy. We're busy.
I am unfortunately very busy on Wednesdays now.
Yeah. But we're like, we got to have you for the recap. We have to have you
Absolutely.
for the recap.
Absolutely.
So,
Cleared my schedule for this.
yeah,
Nice.
you got to at this point, especially since our season is unfortunately over. But we will discuss that. No special segment tonight because it's mainly just focused Vikings. There's a lot of storylines we got to go through. There's a lot of guys that might not be Vikings next year. We got to talk about that as well. Maybe even go down memory lane as well for some of those guys too. So we will have a lot to talk about. Zoners, you guys can chime in too as we're talking about this as well. So a long Tater Tot Hot Take tonight. But before we do that, we get into everything. We have to send out congratulations to RJ, who won Pick'em. Yes, congratulations. Well done, sir. You will be getting your items like we talked about this morning. So we'll get that to you. So here we go. But congratulations to him. Yeah, so after that, we got ARA tonight. Voldy's got a nice set of Black Monday firings. It's probably...
Damn.
I know people are losing their jobs and whatnot for this, but I like discussing it because I want to, throw out some predictions. Maybe guys go somewhere else.
These coaches are making millions of dollars. They'll be fine.
They'll be fine. Yeah, that's right, Mike. You're spot on there. So we'll be talking about that. Koiperich leaves the University of Minnesota. He's in the transfer portal. I don't know what's going on there, but I don't like it. Don't like it.
When he said he wanted to stay too. He said he wanted to stay.
Yeah.
So,
Oh,
no place
boy.
I'd rather be.
Controversy. Napheesacollier out. She had ankle surgery, 4 to 6 months. Not sure. She probably won't be ready for the beginning of the season, I would assume. It's going to take some time. That's a bummer for her because, MVP. The A's denied Vegas trademarks. A lot of controversy surrounding that. It's just controversy on controversy today. It's just insane. And then to round things off, the USA Hockey unveils their Olympic roster. A lot to be said. We got to get Voldy's takes on that as well. So we are looking forward to listening about that. Billy G leading the way. And shield shoutouts. You know the deal. Shield shoutouts tonight. Voldy's got some shield shoutouts. So, guys, I say without further ado, let's get it going with some Tater Tot Hot Take.
Fresh out of the oven, it's Tater Tot Hot Take.
All right, so let's get it going. Tater Tot Hot Take. The Minnesota Vikings end things on a good note on Sunday. They defeat the Green Bay Packers 16-3. And quite frankly, I was hoping for a shutout. But, I really don't like Matt LaFleur. I don't like him, and I think he's kind of a prick, to be quite honest.
It's a dick move.
Yeah.
It was a dick move is what it was.
We'll kick a field goal and because we don't want to get shut out by our rival and stuff. It's like, okay, then put in Love. I don't care if he screws up, throws an interception. Who cares?
Get hurt.
It's
gets
ridiculous.
Shoot.
Yeah. So anyway, Vikings win 16-3. Not really much to write too much home about. I mean, we played well. Run game was good. JJ was good until, obviously, the hand started acting up again. We'll get more into that in a second. But let's just start with our overall thoughts. Mikey and Zoners, feel free to chime in, too, in the chat. Your overall thoughts on the game and, where do we go from here is the big question. So, Mikey,
it's the question of this, basically the century for the Vikings is where do we go from here. I thought the game was good. It's been the tale of basically three trimesters of this, or 3 periods, we could say, of this entire season. Like the first period of it was like JJ was in and out all the time. We kind of had a little bit of quarterback issues here or there, but we were like steady enough. And then we had hit that big lull period in the middle of the season where I think we went like 1-5 or something like that. Got basically eliminated from the playoffs at that point. And then the third period where we went 5 in a row, knocked it off, and somehow finished above 500. Was not expecting that. So that's a good turnaround for our team. Were we playing the best competition? Probably not, but defense balled out for us for sure for the last stretch of the season. I liked where the defense is. I liked the players, I liked the key players there. We are losing some, unfortunately, whether through free agency or retirement at this point on that side of the ball, which we'll get to probably. But offensively, I mean, JJ played fine. He had the hand thing, which like I like that he wanted to finish out the season like in somewhat of a strong case. He played okay. I would say like he's been like through this last stretch, he's been progressively getting better little by little. Is he still making rookies mistakes? Of course he is. Like we this is what we knew we were kind of signing up for. Did it go exactly the way we planned it to? No, I wanted to see a little more progression out of the season, but he's still making strides, and now he's going to have a full off season where without the hand thing will resolve itself within a month or two probably, but he'll have a full off season of actually training with like JJ and everybody on the offensive side to actually become the captain of this offense. I'm excited to see where that goes. I'm excited to see, hopefully Flores stays around for sure. But no, I thought the game was fine. The Packers were sitting everyone. So like we were destined to win that game as soon as I don't even remember the Packers quarterback's name, third stringer that they chucked out there.
Clayton Tune.
Clayton Tune, that's right. I knew it was some weird name. Gosh, couldn't even remember. I'm like, it's this rando that they got off the street essentially.
34 passing yards.
Yeah. Ugh. But
net
no,
of -7 though.
Yeah, true. I think we learned a lot. I think the quarterback room needs a little bit of retuning, especially behind J.J. McCarthy. I think we've learned that Brosmer needs to cook a lot longer than we thought he would need to. So if we want to keep him around, keep him on the practice squad, I think that's the best plan for him. But we got to find a bona fide backup, a veteran backup that can push JJ a little bit, but also be there to mentor him along the bumps that will inevitably happen in the next season.
Well, before we get into, I want to throw a couple things at you, Mikey, and then get to
for
Shield
sure.
Here. But first off, shout out to Alex, our guy Alex. He's tuning in. Hey, boys, hopping on real quick. Hope everyone enjoyed their Christmas. Yes, Merry Christmas to you as well. Happy New Year, and especially from 9 p.m. to midnight. He's referencing his Denver Broncos. That's what he's referencing.
Boy.
They do have the number one seed and everything like that. So I give him, credit where credit's due. He does the hashtag Believe stuff as well. But, we'll see. I mean, the playoffs, it's a different beast. We got to see if they're bred for it, So.
Yeah, they got a great defense. I'm not so sold on the offense.
I hit or miss, I feel like sometimes. But they're the one seed. Got to give them credit. So, I agree with you, Mikey. I think a lot of what they have to deal with right now is I would say kind of having him progress. The big question is the durability, right? We're all wondering if he can go a full season without getting hurt, without the hand issue. As well. Before we get into that, he said Denver Nuggets, that's what he's referencing, saying that on Christmas.
On Christmas. Oh, I'm sorry.
I remember.
They don't have Jokic. They don't have Jokic anymore. They kind of are bad right now.
Yeah.
Right?
Is he out for, 6 weeks?
A month.
Oh, a month? Yeah. Well, yeah, potato, I guess. For a long time.
Just riling him up over here.
Yeah, exactly. But... yeah, I agree with you. I think there's, we'll get into more of this stuff, but, just the overall game, I think was well said. I mean, they dominated them with Clayton Tune and Emmanuel Wilson, Chris Brooks, just to name a few that only played much. So anyway, Voldy, what are your overall thoughts on the game? Anything to add to that?
Yeah, just, we got off to a good start, and I felt like we could have definitely built onto it if J.J. McCarthy was still, obviously going to be in the whole game. Of course, he came out early there in the second half, especially with the hand. I just felt like he was trying to push through it in the first place, and then it just kind of reached a fever pitch at that point, too. But one thing that has really started to bother me about this whole, we beat the second and third stringers of the Green Bay Packers. Winning in the NFL is hard. I don't care if you play the practice squad or the 85 Bears. Winning in the NFL is hard, and I don't understand how we have reached a point as Minnesota Vikings fans that we can get nitpicky about getting wins, because we could have very easily lost this game, and we would be talking about how the fact that we lost to second, third, and even fourth stringers. I don't understand why we have to go that route. It's not just you guys, not you guys specifically. Everybody else on social media is just dogging everybody for this win. And the game overall could have done more. We really would have liked to see JJ finish things off there in that game. It was great to see Justin Jefferson get his 100 yards and 1,000 yards on the season to keep that rolling. And, of course, get the major love as well to cjham getting that touchdown on the 1 yard line. And again, we'll talk about it more too, but just what we see from the depth perspective of this team to piece together a win too, especially with, Ham getting a touchdown and, just going off that, even that being the only touchdown of the game. And then just getting Will Reichert on the scoreboard multiple times. It was great to see defense again, really came through here and has really held things down these last 5 weeks to get us back over 500.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I just think too, just what the big thing that they did well, I felt like was, I feel like the MVP of the game, in all honesty, Dallasturner. Turner looked like the first round pick that we were hoping he'd be. Mm-hmm. Now, I wasn't on the boat of saying like, he's a bust after 1 year and everything like that. When you have the gangster, when you have Jonathan Grenard, that's hard to overshadow those guys right now. I mean, they were balling out last year. They balled out this year. Unfortunately, with the injuries, with Gink had it at the beginning of the year. I think it was that concussion he suffered against the Bears, or a neck. It was a neck, I think, actually.
Neck, yeah.
And then Grenard with the shoulder. I mean, guy was gutting it out against the Cowboys, and then eventually what happened. But Dallasturner is turning into a beast, and I think people need to give credit where credit's due to the Vikings on that, because Kwesi, I know there's been a lot of bashing of Kwesi, and quite frankly, maybe some of it's warranted, maybe it isn't. But at the same time, you can't sit back and say this Dallasturner guy doesn't have anything, because he does, and he's been kicking ass, taking names. I don't care if it was against like you said, Voldy. I don't care if it's against the second or third stringers. It's the NFL.
Exactly.
That timing on one of his sacks, I don't know if you guys saw this. One of his sacks, he timed it perfectly to get off the line, got right past the left tackle, and smacked Clayton too. I mean, it was an awesome move off the line. But, we expected this. The cjham touchdown, I almost cried just because we know what's coming. What's coming next. But, it was fun to see, and I know that Will Reichert, I think, our guy, Voldy, has been amazing. Will the Thrill.
But hey, not good enough to be in the Pro Bowl.
Yeah, not good enough to be in the Pro Bowl.
The biggest snub, I think, of this entire season. Jesus.
2 missed kicks all year, both of which off wires in London and in Dublin. I'm calling Illuminati. There's some bullshit on this.
Yeah, correct.
I agree. Yeah. Hell yeah.
That still would have been 2 more wins for us.
And they say, they're like, that's AI. They say that. That's what they say. It's AI. That's AI. BS. We all know what happened in London. When we saw it, everybody saw it.
Everybody saw it.
It's God. But anyway, I agree. I think, Will Reichard deserves to be in the Pro Bowl over Brandon Aubrey, who, by the way, missed 2 kicks. Not 1, but 2 against the Minnesota Vikings. So, I don't know. Our guy, Will Reichard, you know the deal, the mellow that he did against the Cowboys.
Not a Pro Bowler, though.
Not a Pro Bowler, apparently.
I don't get it.
No.
I don't get it either. So here's another thing that some people didn't get. The J.J. McCarthy injury, guys. There was a lot of criticism from fans and some others as well. And again, I don't want to sit back and say, like, hey, like he shouldn't have taken himself out of the game and this and that. But, if that hand was hurting, he said it was an 8.5 out of 10. That's pretty painful.
That's bad.
That is pretty painful. And when he made that throw, he just kind of felt it and said, I don't want to hurt the team because, my hand's going to, be hurting like hell every time I throw. So, Mikey, what are your thoughts on that, him taking himself out of the game? Did you have a problem with that? Did you think that, okay, he's just saying, like, this ain't going to work and whatnot. Let's take a look at it and call it what it is. But what did you think of that whole situation?
I thought it was fine. I know he's got a competitive mentality about himself. He wanted to try and play one last game for everyone on this team, right? Which I thought was commendable. He could have absolutely been like, I'm just going to sit this season out, rehab, get right for next season type of thing. But he wanted to try to run it out. And if you as an athlete know, hey, my play is making the team suffer and like the backup or anyone else could play better because they're fully healthy, that's a fair assessment. This isn't like Anthony Richardson when he takes him out because I'm like, oh, I'm too tired type of thing. No, this is like he physically can't do the things he is being asked to do. Would I have liked him to like maybe sit it out? Like as long as his hand is okay and it's not going to cause long lasting injuries, I like to see him out there. I like to see him trying to improve his game, trying to showcase to the fans that like, hey, I want to be here for the long haul. And I want to work to make this better for everyone else. Like that's a great thing to see. That's like an intangible thing that not a lot of guys have. I think it will take the off season to see like all of the other stuff to come together. I'm really hoping, but I thought it was a good thing to see out of him. I don't think it's at any detriment that he took himself out. Did Brosmer play at about par from what JJ was doing? Probably, but no, I thought it was a fine call. Last game of the season, like you tried your best. You tried to play for your boys and you took yourself out. I'm not going to fault him for that one, for sure.
No, I know that, you're seeing on the sideline, he was, giving high fives, left hand and everything like that. Like people thought, oh, he's being so dramatic. Let's get out there and play. And it's just like, I looked up the injury that he had. And, I'm no doctor. I'm just throwing this out there. I mean, this is just from what I read from the internet. Take it for what you will. This is a month injury, like before it's fully healed. It's going to hurt like hell. And we kind of knew it going into this game. And I think they said, are you good enough to throw? Is it going to be a problem? And he didn't think so. And it depends on how he reacts to it. Now, when you go through the game, you're getting hit. I mean, you're getting hit on the hand and stuff like that. I mean, the guy had an angry run against Green Bay, and he absolutely stiff-armed the crap out of the hey, Tate's here as well. There he is. There's our guy. Yep. Yes, sir. All right. So I look at it from this perspective, and that's a whole different situation. I don't want to really get into that one because people are like, oh, that was dumb. It's like, yeah, it was dumb, but Keyshawn Nixon's not a saint either. So just throwing that out there. But I would say I think him taking himself out, was it a bad look? I wouldn't say that. I would say if he's having that issue, maybe he should have just said, I don't think I can go the second half. Mm-hmm. Put in Brosmer. I mean, we got this game in hand. Just run the ball with Mason or Xavier Scott or whoever, and go from there. So I don't know. But Voldy, what are your thoughts on that situation? Anything?
I mean, we don't know the full extent of where his comfort level was at. And of course, like you mentioned, this is an injury that could take a month or some time longer than that to fully heal. But the fact that he played right through it, not sure how many reps he was taking at practice, warm up, in between offensive series, and well re-aggravated it or maybe even made it worse. And he continued to find a way to kind of push through it. The optics overall didn't necessarily look good, but I don't know how bad he was hurt or how he was feeling as well. He pushed through as much as he could. He thought maybe he could play the second half of the game and right off into the sunset of the season, but he knew at one point that, it's not good. I'm doing more harm than good for the team right now. And I'm just gonna have to call it here and just try to save for whatever going into next season. I don't have a problem with him pulling himself out because you see more times in the past that guys that push through injury in a game, again, does more harm than good to the team and could definitely hurt them in the long run and just make things a heck of a lot worse. I don't fault him for that, and I hate the fact that people are dogging him for, kind of pulling things out. Again, we don't know how hurt he was or what he was feeling, and if he was just barely hanging on in the first place. I mean, like, are we giving Carson Wentz crap for blowing out his shoulder and playing through playing 2.5 games basically with only one good arm basically? No, we're not doing that. And thank you for your service, Carson. But I mean, I still don't understand why we continue to just find ways to throw J.J. McCarthy under the bus.
Right. And, it's mainly for these internet trolls too. I mean, that's the whole 9 thing and everything like that surrounding that. It's just like, oh my God, this has gone out of control. But, I appreciate him gutting it out. I mean, he made some throws, and even with a bad hand, he made a throw to Ben Sims. Mikey, I don't know if you saw that or not, but he absolutely threw a dart to him, and he just kind of from the side grabbed it, and he was making some good throws. Jefferson got open. He was getting it right to Jets. I mean, who knows what will be. The question is, can he be able to stay healthy? Can he be durable? Can he do those specific things? So,
right.
There's a lot to be said in regards to that. So we're hoping that the Vikings can, see what they have with J.J. McCarthy here these in the off season and beyond here. So anyway, I think we might have lost Mikey. I think I'm seeing frozen video. Oh, I didn't even hit end call, so he'll come back in a second.
Either that or he did not blink for a solid 2 minutes there. I'm just like, man, he is locked in right now.
Oh,
now he's locked in. I didn't know you were frozen either, and then I looked. I'm like, wait a minute.
I'm like, oh, okay, I guess.
Well, we got you now. That's all.
We got you. I was like, oh, I'll just hang up quick and call back. Whoops, my bad.
Too good. So let's talk.
It was me this time. It wasn't Voldy. It was me.
Oh man, technical difficulties. We deal with them. It happens. Let's talk about the big kind of deal that was happening at US Bank Stadium. 2 absolute Vikings legends, and I'm saying this because it's damn true. Harrison Smith and cjham. Now, we didn't really know about cjham's status until maybe like a couple days before the game. We're like, oh, is he really mulling retire? Because I thought he had like maybe 2-3 more years left, because I'm like, he's still killing it. But it's looking like, and especially if you watch the locker room video, after the game, just kind of expressing his thanks to the team and everything like that, it was kind of him leaning more towards being done, which I can respect, and him being a family man, and he's a great guy too. So, Harrison Smith, obviously, we thought last year was the year that he was going to retire, but on this show, we had the breaking news. Same people, by the way, all three of us, that he signed a 1-year contract. It's on the social medias. Check it out. It's an awesome vid, especially Tommy P reporting it, that he was coming back. Now, the question I have to ask you, let's start with Harrison Smith. Mikey, the question I ask of you is this. Is Harrison going to give it one more go, or are we going to see Harrison Smith go off into the sunset? What do you got?
Yeah, I know he kind of left the door open. Last year I was like, he's got to give it one more ride. Mm-hmm. I think this year he's unfortunately probably done. I would like to see him return to the Vikings in some coaching capacity. I think he's got such a presence in the locker room and such respect from everyone in the organization that I think it's like a shoe-in fit. Put him at like an assistant DB coach or anything of that nature, right? He'd fit right in with the Flores regime, but I think it's just ultimately time. Like I would love for him to come back and get a Super Bowl, but you can't deny that the facts that he's definitely lost. I would argue more than a step at this point. Is he still unbelievable? Cerebrally, that's not how you pronounce that word. Like a cerebral mind back there in the defense, absolutely. Second to none. Like you cannot compare to that. But your body unfortunately breaks down after a while, especially playing for 14 years in the NFL. Like goodness, what a run, what a career. For me, first ballot. He's first ballot Hall of Famer easily. He's been the best Vikings safety since, dare I say, Paul Krause at this point. Like it's unbelievable what a career that he's had. I would love to see him come back. I just personally don't see it. I don't see a world where he says, let's give it one more ride. And it ends up being like as good as a send off as he did have. He had the couple of picks towards the end of the year. Looked like he was prime Harrison Smith all over again. He had the little flash. I think he just ride that out into the sunset and just call it a career there. Unfortunately, as much as I hate to say I think it's time.
Yeah. Let me add one thing to that too. I feel like if Brian Flores is back as DC, I think he has some strong consideration to come back. Not saying he will, for sure, but I'm saying there's a little bit, just a titch of chance.
There's a little crack in the window.
Exactly. And he's run that defense down to a T. I mean, he knows it. B-Flow sets him up perfectly on those blitzes. Harrison's so good at knowing what the quarterback's going to do with interceptions,
exactly,
et cetera.
Which is why I want him to come back as a coach. If he can teach that to the new guys coming in, my goodness.
That would be amazing. So, all right, Voldy, I asked the question to you. What do you think? Harrison Smith coming back, not coming back? What do you got?
I think definitely the one thing that you brought up, if B-Flow is going to be back, it would definitely be one of those where, you got to stay ready is the thing. I don't know start of the season if Harrison Smith is on the roster for the Vikings, but it could be late season push, maybe a couple of injuries pull up. Maybe we're making a playoff push and we need to do the old classic Eric Weddle signs with the Rams 2 weeks in the playoffs and he wins a Super Bowl ring. I would be all for that. That is a situation that could arise, but I see just the way that things finished off for Harrison Smith this season. Really wish he would have gotten one more interception. That way he would have had his 40 career interceptions, and 20 sacks. That would have put him in that rarefied Hall of Fame air of the 40-20 club for a defensive back. And that would have definitely solidified his spot in Canton. Not saying that he's not, but definitely strong consideration for his play overall as, one of the premier defensive backs and also at the safety position since he came in the league, and definitely, is one of the last of the known, one of those guys that definitely made an impact. I mean, he's the last of the Metrodome Vikings now that I think about it too. Just those that have been here and there. I mean, he's the last guy that knew what it was like to play on Mall of America Field at Hubert H. Humphrey Metrodome, which is hard to even think about. That was a thing all this time ago. I don't see Harrison Smith start of the season with the Vikings, but I'm sure he'll be around. He'll stay ready and probably doesn't need all that much time to get ready if and when a call does come in for his services.
You think about what Brandon Graham did this year. I mean, he retired, kind of being done, and then all of a sudden he comes back to, there's a lot of issues going on with the Philly at one point in time.
And he's been productive. I think at one point
great.
He played like a dozen snaps and had 3 sacks or something like that. Like he's not just out there plugging holes or just filling space. Yeah, he's out there and he's getting what is his.
So I mean that's a possibility. Like there could be a possibility that Harrison doesn't do training camp, but then all of a sudden we get news week 1 he's back. Who knows? Yeah. But that's something to consider. But before I give my answer, I want to give a quick back in the day, and this was back when Mikey and I were at St. Thomas. For one, Mikey knows where I'm going with this, and I'm going to talk more about it until Harrison fully retires. Though there will be a Callahan School of Logic. We'll get into the full details and so on and so forth. But the Vikings that season, I believe that was the Khalil Harrison season, if I'm not mistaken, right? We got Khalil and drafted Harrison. Okay.
Yes.
So
that was the season before. We got it was Harrison Smith, and then we got Kyle Rudolph.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah. I think you're right on that.
I think that's right. I'm looking it up.
You go look it up.
I remember seeing like the video when they introduced Harrison Smith. I think Khalil was there with him too.
Yeah.
So that was the same. I'm pretty sure that was.
We'll take
2012. Yeah, no, that's right. Yes, we got Harrison Smith then. That's right.
Okay.
I was mixing it up. Yep, Khalil was number 4, if I remember, because we traded back one pick.
Right. Mm-hmm. Yeah, we did trade back. And you see, back in the day, and I was not in on Harrison Smith. I was completely out on Harrison Smith that draft. I was like, this is a bad idea. This doesn't make any sense. I think we still had Jamarcus Sanford back there. Mistral Raymond Voldy knows that name. Mikey knows that name as well.
That's a pull. That is a
pull right there. Not saying they were bad by any means, but I wanted nothing to do with it. I wanted the Vikings to go and find, quarterback or running. I can't remember what exactly, but fact of the matter is I was not in on Harrison Smith. Mikey was. Mikey said, no, this is a great pick. You're going to see how great of a pick it was. I think the guy taken before Harrison Smith, LaRon Landry. I wanted the Vikings to get LaRon Landry before they got Harrison. I'm like, this makes no sense. I can't believe they didn't go out and try to get LaRon Landry. Well, I'll explain, we'll go through the stats and whatnot. But obviously, Harrison Smith made me a believer that first season because he was awesome. I mean, even Khalil. I mean, that draft class was really good. I mean, Blair Walsh was actually quite competent that season. Harrison Smith, Khalil had the one good season, obviously. He's in the news for other stuff, but we won't get into that.
Hung like 2 Coke cans, apparently.
Yeah.
Shout out to the former Mrs. Khalil.
If that's what you want, if you want to get more money from it, all power to you.
Here's one Coke can.
Oh my God!
I was not expecting that.
What are we coming to? Oh God!
There's your sprinkle of 13 on the PG
Oh
show.
my God!
Oh.
That's
Hey, if
a
he's
short
suing and
clip
he's
of
getting
shipment.
money. What was I talking about? I can't remember.
Oh my God!
Anyway, Matt Khalil, going aside from that, Harrison Smith, I was out. I was like, this makes no sense. We should have gotten someone else to fill it. But that first season, like I said, it made me a believer. Mikey was right. And look, 14 years later, here we are talking about how great he's been. He's been the ultimate Viking. So my thought on this is that I think this is it. And I don't mean it to be a knock or anything like that, because Mikey's right. There have been some things where I've been watching a game and he just kind of, I don't know if he shies away from contact, but there were some instances where he didn't really give his full, like, your usual Harry the Hitman. And I'm not knocking him. I'm just saying that's what happened, because the same thing happened with Greenway. Like there's something off. There was something off. And, if he were to come back, I think it would make sense. Look, he has flourished in the brianflores defense, and has been an absolute stud this season, the season before, and he loves playing with him. Now, if B-Flow comes back, and I hope he does, we'll get into that in a second, I think there's a stronger chance he's back in Minnesota. Like you guys been saying, get him back as a coach and stuff like that, that would make sense. Terrence Newman, I think, did that after his career, and he did that with the Vikings for a little bit. Played really well. Obviously, him and Zim got off on a bad note, to say the least. So, but anyway, I think it's time. I think he has more of a chance than cjham to come back, because let's switch over to cjham. If you guys probably watched all the post-game stuff and how what he was saying, and if you haven't seen the locker room video of cjham and Harrison Smith, talking to the guys one last time, oh God, it's a tearjerker. Like it is, like your eyes are like well up when they're talking, because you're like, these guys are like the ultimate Vikings. They are the Vikings, So let me ask you this, cjham. I think we're all leaning more towards probably not coming back, but anything you want to add with cjham, Mikey? Then we'll go to Voldy.
Yeah. It kind of came as a shock, because I was like, oh no, we have cjham because what is he, 31? I was expecting him to be like maybe a season or two more before this would become a conversation, but I think for him it's probably the right time. Being a fullback beats on your body like nothing else. It's like you're basically an offensive defensive lineman put back there. And you're expected to be a battering ram, and he was a damn good battering ram for a while. Coming out of Augustana with D2, which unbelievable. Unbelievable his transition, because he was a running back there. Yeah, in division for both of us, technically, or in conference, I should say, for both of us in the NSIC.
Nothing but respect, though. Nothing but respect.
Yeah, nothing but respect. Nothing but respect for cjham. Don't like his school too much. But no, making that transition from he was a full-time running back there to learning to be a fullback, learning to like, oh, I'm going to get the rock 4 times a season and I'm going to block the biggest dudes. Like he made that transition. He made it quick. Like his rookie season, he was great. Like I had no complaints. I'm like, oh, we'll see how he does as a fullback. I thought maybe he would be like a 3rd or 4th string running back long term, but no, he made it work at the fullback position. He found his niche, became arguably one of the better top 3 probably fullbacks of Vikings all time. Like the only people I can think of is like, the tosser. Like he was around forever. He was such a good fullback. And then like the couple years we had Tony Richardson when we had Chester Taylor and Adrian Peterson. Those are the only names that really come to the forefront when it comes to like great Vikings fullbacks. And don't think about the fullback position all much, but like we didn't have to think about it because like cjham was there, right? cjham was such a plug and play type of guy, very athletic. A lot of people didn't like. A lot of people thought him as just like, oh, he's just this big ball running back like Cam Scadaboo. Just put your head down, get CTE like every other play. But no, he was smart. He's extremely smart. Knows exactly where to fit in. You could throw him in pass pro, throw him in run blocking situations. Heck, throw him a pass and a wheel route. He'll do whatever is asked. It is extremely sad. Yeah, extremely sad to see him go. Him, like you said, Matt, him and Harrison Smith personified what we want Vikings players to be. He was a Viking through and through. I wish him nothing but the best in retirement. It seems like that is all but insured from the videos. I do recommend going to watch those, by the way. Those are, like Matt said, they're fantastic videos. Grab a box of tissues, just letting you know ahead of time. But no, heck of a career. I wanted him to stay maybe a season or two more, but it seems like he's calling it quits, and it's sad to see. But when it's your time, it's your time. And if some players want to ride it out till they can't anymore, and some players want to have a little bit left in the tank and be like, I went out on a high note, and I can't blame them either way.
I think that's spot on, and we firsthand, Voldy and myself, and you, obviously, Mikey, I'd probably at some point at your time in Mary, seeing him play. We called one of his games, and he had one hell of a game against us at Mackey Field there, Voldy as well. But he is a great guy, and he said, quote, time for me to be with my family. He wants to be the soccer dad, which I think is a really good deal with that. And he's such a great guy. And we said this on the socials. If he retires, we want to try to get him on this show. I think this would be great, since we all kind of know what it was like playing in the NSIC and the Division II and everything like that. And obviously we're going to talk Vikings too. I mean, why the hell not? So that's our extension out to him. So Voldy, anything to add? Well, cjham, you probably say he's done, right?
Yeah, I would definitely say that he is done. Just for what an ambassador he has been for the game as well, not just beyond, of course, his time with the Vikings as well. But of course, he's been a guy that has been a crucial part of the organization since he did get his chance to, be a part of the team and everything, and at least made it work for sure. Of course, being that guy that was a long shot, coming from a small Division II school, transitioning from a running back and becoming, of course, a fullback as well, but still having that, dynamic playing ability in that back pocket if being, called upon to, but just being a kid from Duluth that went to a small high school, Duluth-Denfeld High School, then going to Augustana, then finding his way back, of course, to Minnesota by being a part of the Vikings and sticking around as well, not just being a fullback, but of course getting on special teams and, filling in where he needed to continue to be. And then obviously the work that he's done off the field with his organization, a charitable organization that has garnered respect, of course, as being a representative and, of course, a nominee for the Walter Payton Man of the Year, which he was the team representative, I believe, for this year as well, and maybe even in seasons past. That's just been good to see a guy that has made the most of his time in the NFL, but knowing the right time to say, I've done my part on the field, but it's time to enjoy life when I can. I certainly will enjoy, the time that he did have in a Vikings uniform, but just wish it could be a little bit longer. But I'm glad he knows that it's time and time to move on to something else.
Yeah, and I think he's demonstrated how good of a guy he is, and he's, we didn't kind of see it coming, and you never really do. I mean, these guys, Luke Kuechly, no one thought he was going to retire. Well, he did,
Yeah.
That's another.
He retired early too.
Yeah,
like,
he did.
That was a shock.
Yeah, shock to everybody, and that when it's time, it's time, and that's cool. I mean, he was a part of the team, worked his ass off. He got on the team in 2016. He was there with the Minneapolis Miracle. He was there through the COVID years and stuff like that. I mean, I just felt like anytime he was in the game, he makes a difference, whether it was blocking, like you said. That one-handed catch he had, where Brosmer almost overthrew him, was sick.
Yeah.
And, that's cjham. He just goes out and makes plays and it was kind of fitting because Jim Kleinsasser was sounding the Gallahorn at the game, which was awesome in itself. So claps out to our guy who we just did Where Are They Now? And, we should have a side-by-side picture of him and Will Rattel. I mean, honestly, that would be that'd be insane. I mean, a lot of muscle right there. That's for sure.
A lot of shoulders, no necks. Not a single neck to be found.
That's right.
Excuse me, traps.
Just
traps, yeah.
Pull right down the middle.
So, so congrats to them. I even had this up during the game, harrisonsmith and whatnot. So I was hoping to, bring some good luck, and it sure did, obviously, with the win. And I was hoping for a pick or two, we were all hoping.
I know. I think all of us were.
Yeah. But that Detroit game was awesome. I mean, honestly, I think that was probably the one where it's like, that's the vintage game that we all know from harrisonsmith. So we'll talk more about that coming up, but there's a lot to discuss in regards to this offseason, gentlemen.
Oh, yeah.
There are some guys that you got to think, they had an okay season, but I just think with the cap hits that are about to, come with these players, I think we have to consider probably either trading or cutting or whatever they need to do, restructure stuff as well. So let's discuss a couple guys here. So let's start with I think the obvious one is T.J. Hawkinson. I haven't seen the same guy that we saw before that injury. And again, not his fault. Honestly, it was a dirty freaking hit by Kirby Joseph, who's a piece of crap. I just think he's never really been to that level that we were expecting him to be at after that. So I think the Vikings are going to I think they're probably going to have to cut him because I don't know what team would take was it $21 million cap hit, if I'm not mistaken. So it's a lot. So let's start with Voldy this time. Voldy, what do you see the Vikings doing with Hawk?
Yeah, I mean, it's tough to say right now based off of the year that was. And, of course, he got hurt towards the back end of the previous season, and coming back was a little bit of a slow start. And from that point, didn't just really get a lot of feeling under him. Of course, inconsistency at quarterback could be attributed to that too. $21 million on the books, and it's a tough number for him. Immediate gun to my head answer, I'd say they would probably cut him, but if that does happen, then he goes somewhere else and he's probably going to ball out. That's probably what's going to happen. I would like to see the Vikings hang on to him for at least another season and hope that we get that, same Hawkinson as well, because, the tight end position is looking pretty slim, of course, with Hawkinson. Then you have Oliver, but beyond that, not a whole lot to report on in that regard. But then again, you put a lot of focus in the wide receiver position for the Vikings, so the tight end is a bit of a forgotten thought when it comes to receiving core. But right now, I would probably say the Vikings are going to have to cut him.
Mikey?
Yeah, it's tough not to say to cut him because it's a lot of money at the cap position, 100%. I know there's probably a way to restructure it. I think at this point, you should see if there are any offers. Even if it's hey, we have to pay half of his contract or something like that for half the cap hit. See if we can get anything in return. I'd like to see something like that. Like Voldy said, the production just hasn't been there. And granted, not all of his fault. The quarterback play this year has been iffy at best. It was probably the best way to put it. But it's we have so many other positions to worry about at this point. We have to worry about what's going to happen with Addison at the number two wide receiver spot. We have to worry about the offensive line. We have to re-sign a bunch of defensive players here too, because there are a couple key people which weren't key people before but are key people now, to re-sign those and retain them on the defense for sure, especially if you want to keep brianflores around. But I see him as a casualty, unfortunately, and that would immediately be, if we did get rid of him at some point, it immediately would become, okay, we have to designate someone in the draft in the first at least 3 rounds to replace that production, or go find a veteran. But I don't know what veteran you're going to go out and get. Maybe Njoku from the Browns becomes available at some point, but he is going to cost a decent penny as well. So, yeah, I see him getting cut. I don't think we can restructure it that well. I trust the front office. They probably know if they want to restructure and how to restructure that, everything. But I just can't see him being a Viking next year, unfortunately.
That's the sad part about it, because I really think he is, a good tight end. I just think he's just kind of been dealt a bad hand, to be quite honest. There's a couple other guys I think we'll breeze through this real quick, but let's go with Rondale Moore. He played one punt in the preseason, got hurt. I doubt they're going to give him another shot.
No, if anything, he'll be back on veteran minimum, so it's he's probably gone.
Yeah. Justin Skol, gone. He will be a liability if we don't have a Harrison
as versatile as he is. Yeah, as versatile as he is on the offensive line, which is not to be understated. That is a hard thing to do, but
he just
didn't play well, unfortunately, and results are a key, the key thing on the offensive line. You give up that much pressure and sacks, unfortunately, you're gone.
Ryan Wright, interesting one. I feel like they got to find a way to get him re-signed.
Absolutely. Ryan Wright was a freaking weapon in the back half of the season. Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
If you check out our social media feeds, that dude was putting balls at the 5.
That's right.
Yeah.
Dalton _ Vincent says, I think the coaching hire comes before the re-signing. We have no cap space. Yeah, no, I think that
makes sense.
It makes sense. Yeah. Player re-signing, whole deal. But let's go with Ivan Pace. I think they're moving on from Ivan Pace.
That's a tough one.
That one, he just fell off a cliff. I don't know what happened, but Eric Wilson was, and I think they should re-sign Eric Wilson, for goodness sakes. He played amazing, and I was really hoping Ivan Pace would turn out, but it just seems like he wasn't doing something right. So
he had a great rookie year. He balled out that rookie season, and then the last 2, he's been up and down, injuries here or there. It's been tough. It's been tough. I think it's tough to see him go. I think you could get him on a decent deal too, but with how, especially this year, he kind of played himself out, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Jalen Redmond, he's a restricted free agent, so I think he's coming back. There's no ifs.
You have to resign him. He was unbelievable.
He was amazing this whole season. He was awesome. So shouts out to him. I think he'll definitely be a Viking. And then we'll wrap this one up. Jalen Naylor. I know it's kind of like
ugh.
I kind of want him back. I'm not gonna lie. I thought him and JJ had a good rapport.
It's the money that it's concerning because he played really well this season.
Yeah,
like I want him back. He was a great number 3. He balled out.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I want him back. I do. I honestly do. So let's last thing. This has kind of taken over a lot here in the media, socials medias, the media in general. Because, Minnesota and the sports media, they just love one another, don't they?
Hand in hand.
Oh, for sure.
That's right. Brian Flores, the big news is kind of like, okay, is he up for the job in, I was about to say Oakland, Las Vegas? Is he going to the Ravens? Because Harbaugh, we'll talk about that in a little bit. But last thing, guys, Mikey, we'll go with you. Brian Flores, will he be defensive coordinator for the Vikings in 2026? Go.
If it wasn't for the Ravens part, I would have been like absolutely 100%. I especially want him back. He turned around this defense like nobody else. It was first year here. He made this defense that was historically bad to middle of the road, maybe could be in the top 10 consideration. Then his second year, top 5, top 3 easily. This year, really held us together for the back half of the season. Like that was the bedrock, especially with the whole turmoil that we had on the offensive side of the ball. The Ravens is an alluring position. Unfortunately, you have Lamar Jackson at quarterback, and you have historically their defense has always been good, and they have great players on that side of the ball for him to facilitate. I still think he comes back just because he goes back to the Vikings just because there is some negative media buzz around like what he did in Miami. Yeah, Miami. When he was a tenure as the head coach. A lot of people calling him a quote unquote dictator from what I saw, which like that could shy some potential people away. Do I want that to happen? Absolutely, because I think he's been a great defensive-minded coach. He's a great D coordinator. He comes back, he's probably one of the highest, if not the highest, defensive coordinator paid wise, like salary-wise, in the NFL, and he absolutely deserves it. I am leaning towards yes. I would not be surprised if we see his name in the next couple weeks be like, he's going to be the Ravens head coach, or I don't think the Raiders, I don't think he wants to join a dysfunctional organization like the Raiders, but who knows? I mean, the money could be the money, and that's what he might want. But I'm leaning towards yes, but it's kind of like a 50-50 for me at this point.
I'm in the same boat. I think it's 50-50. Voldy, what do you think?
There are a lot of moving parts when it comes to this Brian Flores situation. Like Mikey brought up the whole situation that happened in Miami. He tried to be Bill Belichick and just try to run everything. And we've seen what has happened with former Belichick assistants that try to run the whole show at their next joint. It does not go well at all. Maybe some flash in the pan, couple of big wins, maybe a winning season, but beyond that, long-term sustained success has not been good enough. And I just see that maybe that little bit of a blacklisting, if you will, for Flores might still rub a few people the wrong way and maybe, just maybe, push a few of those jobs out of his sight. But at the same time, when you have a position like Baltimore, it is hard not to pass up an opportunity like that. Historically great defenses, but the last, of course, 18 seasons under John Harbaugh, he was a special teams guy. But before that, they had a lot of success with an offensive-minded coach, and see how that could play out to their effect if they decide to go that direction. But here's what I'm going to lay out. If Brian Flores does get a job, it will be Baltimore. And then defensive coordinator for the Vikings, Raheem Morris. Maybe that'll attract a little bit of attention, quite possibly, in bringing a backup behind the quarterback in J.J. McCarthy. Hey, there was a guy that Raheem kind of coached the last couple seasons down in Atlanta.
Oh, boy.
Let's bring back Kirko for the final ride. Let's ride off into the sunset. Kirko chains back in purple and gold.
Hold on, I got
out there right now. Absurd statement for 2026 right there for you.
Oh, boy.
Oh my God, Kirko, chill.
Kirko, chill.
I want B-Flow back for at least one more season, just to really make him the cream of the crop when it comes to potential coaching hires for the 2027 season.
Well, and let's think about that for a second. I'm glad you brought up Raheem Morris. Another name that has been floated around, and I know people rip on him and everything like that, but Jonathan Gannon, and he was really good with that Eagles defense before he got hired in Arizona. So that's another name to keep an eye on if B-Flow leaves. I'm going to lean towards B-Flow coming back. I know there was some people were saying a schism between him and the Vikings on something or whatever, but I don't believe it because a lot of these players and coaches speak very highly of him. And the people here in Minnesota love the guy. I mean, he took a defense from Ed Donatel that gave Daniel Jones a bunch of money and the Giants and had Brian Daboll stay in New York until he eventually gets fired. And turned this defense into a top 5 defense in 3 years. Now, if we can get one more year, because I think there's going to be better opportunities for him after the next season, and then, we'll see what happens from there. But I think the two teams that scare me right now, Ravens, like you guys were saying, and the Raiders. Tom Brady connection, it's very real. I mean, but another thing to factor in. Right now, Brian Flores has zero interviews with any NFL team right now. And I don't want to say that he won't, because he probably will. But I think we get one more year. One more year with B-Flow, because I think there's some unfinished business. I'm not going to lie. If this offense can be somewhat competent, they can get like a Kirko. Not saying that it'll happen. I love Kirko. I'd love to have Kirko back. Mac Jones we're throwing out there as well a little bit too. So there's some options, if you will. For the Vikings to go. But we'll talk more about that during the offseason, because free agency will be coming up, draft and all that. So we'll get more into that, kind of where we're thinking they'll go. But I wish I could find my checkbook, but I'm giving B-Flow a blank check. If I'm the Wolves, I'm saying, what do you want? This is what we want to give you. And no, you're not going to Dallas, because Dallas is a shitstorm. No, you're staying right here in Minnesota. You love it here. So there you go. That's kind of how I want B-Flow back. I think we'll get him back. One more year. RJ says, thanks for the intro shout out. Yep, you're welcome. Congrats again on the pick'em. Shout out to you. Pick'em is all done. Mikey, it's all gone. All said and done.
I know.
Well, we got to move on. We got to move on for next year, right?
It was a tough year for me for pick'em. Tough year.
Same here.
Man, I finished in third place. I felt pretty
Voldy
good
was
year.
very good. Yeah, shouts out to Voldy this year.
I think I was like 15th. It was rough. It was a rough.
I was like 10th or something, so I was right with you. But we'll keep working on it. We'll keep rolling with pick'em. So make sure just make sure you're on your ESPN app here and there during the year, and we'll have it start up again.
Heck, it pushes notifications to your phone. That's how I do it all the
That's
time.
right. There we go. So, well, that's going to conclude our Vikings recap. Mikey, thanks for joining us for a little bit of the Vikings, kind of going over, all the things that went on. Somewhat of a disappointing season. But in a couple weeks, we'll all be up for absurd statements. So there's
true.
that
True,
to look forward to. But again, bold predictions. That's what we do here on this show. We do bold predictions for a reason.
Yep.
So it makes sense from that perspective. But Mikey, we will talk to you soon. Obviously, we will let you know as well whether who wins one of the three or whoever else wins.
Yeah, for sure. I'll probably be watching it for sure.
Yeah, exactly. So we're looking forward to that. But thanks for joining us, Mikey, and we'll talk to you soon.
Yeah, for sure. Awesome. Thanks for having me, guys. It's been great. It's always fun.
You know it.
I'm going to remember that too. I better see a clip of that 2 Coke can thing.
More on that later. No, I'm just kidding. We'll have a clip. I think we'll have a clip for that.
Oh my gosh.
So thanks, Mikey. Talk to you soon.
All right, see you guys.
Oh gosh, that's going to be clipped over and over again, I think.
Yes.
So that's going to do it for Hot Take. I know we went a little bit longer, but there's a lot to talk about. I mean, we didn't even get through any of what are they going to do at quarterback and all that. It's just going to have to be for another show. So that's what we got. But we're sticking with the NFL to start off ARA. Black Monday firings, we'll go over it. We'll give our intake on some of those big deals, especially the one with the Ravens. Koiperich, probably not going to be a Gopher. This sucks. I don't like it. Not one bit. Mm-hmm. And napheesacollier will be out 4 to 6 months after her ankle surgery. So we'll hopefully get her back healthy, ready to roll at some point this season, I would assume. The A's denied Vegas trademarks. A lot to be discussed there. And to round things off, USA hockey, baby. Olympic roster's ready to roll. Not B-Flow. Bill Guerin, I'm sorry, I just want B-Flow back. Billy G is got his roster, so we are very happy about that. So RJ says thanks. Yes, thank you. Go Vikings next year. Skol. Yes, go Wild. Yes, go Wild. They're playing really well. So without further ado, let's get it going. What's up? Absurd or approved?
It's time for everyone's favorite segment, Absurd or Approved.
All right, it is time for Absurd or Approved. So, Voldy, why don't you rattle them off for us, please?
Well, we start off in the world of the NFL. Of course, the Monday after the regular season wraps up, affectionately known as Black Monday, where front offices and ownership decides to make the move that is going to better off their franchise. And a number of teams already making the move to let go of some head coaches. Of course, a few of them already from the regular season let go of their head coaches, but the latest batch does include former 2-time coach of the year, Kevin Stefanski in Cleveland, former head coach, and now, of course, after 1 and 2 seasons at the helm in Atlanta, Raheem Morris, former Super Bowl winning champion coach Pete Carroll out in Las Vegas, and of course, Jonathan Gannon after a 15-36 record with the Cardinals. And after 18 seasons in Baltimore, John Harbaugh was let go by the Baltimore Ravens after a unfortunate loss at the buzzer against the Pittsburgh Steelers to knock them out of the playoffs. Now, out of all this bunch here that you see of these head coaches that have been let go of their former employers, which of these coaches is most likely to get another head coaching job within the next 2 seasons?
Well, Voldy, RJ's loving your Moss throwback, by the way. It looks pretty sick, I'm not going to lie. Without further ado, there's, Stefanski is an interesting one because I really like Kevin Stefanski. We know him very well, obviously, from he was here as an assistant or an intern or whatever, and had worked his way up, rightfully so, and he was fantastic. But I just feel like being dealt that hand in Cleveland, not the most ideal, right? And I know you went through a bunch of quarterbacks and all this whole hoopla with Shador and everything like that. But listen, the Cleveland Browns are not a good organization. Their owner's kind of a whack job. Barry, the GM, I don't know. He's questionable at best. And I just think he was dealt a really bad hand, even when he started. I mean, he was able to do things with Baker that not a whole lot of teams could do before then until they eventually moved on. But Myles Garrett was there through the thick of everything, and I thought he did a good job for the hand he was dealt. But that it is what it is. I put Stefanski up there. Raheem Morris is an interesting one. I keep hearing, and you mentioned this during Hot Take, but there's been some head coaching opportunities already for him. Like, he's getting interviews and stuff with the Giants, I think. I forget who else it was. Maybe the Raiders? No. It was some other teams. Anyway, but he's another one that I think I think Pete Carroll's done. Look, you did what you needed to do, man. Like, this is you've won a Super Bowl. You did it in won a national championship in college. You've won it here in Seattle and everything like that. You don't need to.
Right.
I think he's done, to be quite honest with you. But never rule anything out. Jonathan Gannon. I don't think so. And the reason being is I just think too that he's a good coach, but like we said before the show, we were talking about this almost at length before the show. Some guys are just really good coordinators, but not head coaching material.
Right.
You know what a good example of that is? Josh McDaniels. That is a guy that Leslie Frazier, exactly. You see, that's just kind of how it goes. You're a really good coordinator.
Not a knock on them.
No, it's not.
They can put all their focus into one side of the ball, get all their ducks in a row, and just ride off into the sunset on that.
Unless you're Ed Donatel. Sorry, I had to throw that cheap shot. I had to throw that cheap shot.
I don't blame you.
John Harbaugh, I think he's the most likely. This shocked me, and I was shocked when I saw it because I know there was a little bit of like murmurs like, will he move on? The contract, just kind of go from there. But no, they just outright fired him. Like, what? Like, that was insane, and it didn't go right away. Like, it was. No. I think it was yesterday. I think that's when it happened, and everyone's like, what the hell's going on? So I would say John Harbaugh is the most likely out of all of those guys. And then I think a close second would be Kevin Stefanski, because I think Kevin Stefanski, if you give him a quarterback that can, be kind of a little bit more well-established and have a good offense with that, I think they could be very good. The question is, you have to have a good coordinator on defense in order to be successful, and special teams as well, in order to be successful. So I'll go with John Harbaugh, obviously. So, Voldy, what do you got?
Yeah, I think out of all the list of these guys here, I know that Harbaugh is probably going to be the most attractive head coaching candidate. Of course, he's been around the longest out of everyone and definitely still holds a lot of high regard within the league. Maybe he takes a season off or two and just enjoys life a little bit. Maybe he transitions to something else. But I think with the coaching side, he is definitely a very strong candidate out there. With Stefanski as well, giving him the right ownership and the right group as well. If he made something out of Cleveland, being a two-time coach of the year, even took them to the playoffs very early in his go with Cleveland, I don't understand why you don't give him a serious enough look. I mean, there were some rumblings early on, maybe him joining the staff in Green Bay. I don't know how that would work with LaFleur kind of being the offensive guy, calling the plays and running that whole system too. Stefanski being an offensive guy as well. Him kind of also calling the plays in Cleveland too. Don't know how that would work. Pete Carroll's too damn old. He should move on. Raheem Morris, another strong candidate, a head coach. Maybe he goes back to being a coordinator. Jonathan Gannon, another guy. I think this was a good learning experience for him, but maybe go back to being a coordinator somewhere so that way he can kind of, take what he learned and build off of it to be back as a defensive coordinator somewhere else as well. But I think Harbaugh is definitely at the top of the list, followed by Stefanski as well.
I like seeing where all these guys go. It's always fun to just kind of determine all that. And hopefully B-Flow is not among those names. We want him here.
Definitely not.
In Minnesota. So, next one, Voldy.
Well, heading in the world of college athletics, of course, with the opening of the transfer portal this past week, nearly 4,000 college football athletes entered the transfer portal, a number of them heading their way to other places. One notable name here within the state of Minnesota did include a two-way player, that being a versatile offensive threat and, of course, safety. Koiperich announced that he will be entering the transfer portal. Of course, after the production that he had is a freshman season, then of course maybe a slight dip, if you will, overall with him getting a little bit of two-way action this past year for the Gophers. Parrish may be setting his sights to go somewhere else. Some programs throwing their names into the ring here, of course, with a number of them still active in the college football playoff, do include Ohio State, Miami, Oregon, Indiana, and LSU as programs that would garner the services of a one Koiperich for his gameplay overall. Now, which way do you see Koiperich ending up, and which program will he be taking his talents to next season?
I thought somebody said, and correct me if I'm wrong too, that he might come back if it's not the right fit or something like that. I don't know if that's
very well
true
could be. Yeah.
If that's the case, that'd be great. But this comes as a shock to me because I feel like, I know there's a lot of players that are going through this and, get more money, playing time, whatever reason and whatnot. But this one shocked me the most. He was an absolute leader on that team. I mean, he was not only doing it defensively, offensively, punt returns, the whole deal. But I also kind of understand where he's coming from because maybe he wasn't utilized enough on offense. Maybe that is factored in as well. I know the Gophers brought in a couple of our favorite guys, especially our guy Isaac Frichte joining the staff. That's awesome, man. We love it. He's a MinneZona favorite here on the show. Obviously, Mo Ibrahim is back as well as a coach, so that's great to hear.
Nice.
So that's good news. But the bad news is Koiperich. Man, this makes me sad. Like, I really enjoyed watching him play. Like, I think he, and he even said he wanted to be a Minnesota Viking, and I'm like, that's like a Harrison Smith that we need, like a young Harrison Smith almost. But it's sounding like this is more than likely he's going to be going somewhere else. Now, Miami, I think, is a very interesting one because I feel like he can do a lot for that program, especially in a very competitive conference, which being the ACC. Now, I almost think that this would be a good fit because they can utilize him on offense, but on defense he can be a game changer. And maybe that's what he wants, the bigger kind of competition, maybe get his name out there a little bit more, which I do kind of understand. But, there's been a lot of Gophers that went on to be great. Yeah, that went on to be great players. And Blake Cashman is a perfect example. Boye Mafe, who was awesome as well. I think this crop of Gophers have done well. Anthony Smith coming back, there's some loyalty there. So I feel like there's a little bit more of there's a lot of question marks right now in regards to what is going on, because it seemed to everybody else like he was going to be, he's going to be back here. He's going to be an all-time golfer. And now it's like, I guess not. So I would say Koiperich is going to go to Miami. I think Miami seems to be the most logical place to go. So I'll go Miami. Voldy, what do you got?
Yeah, between all the schools that are out there, I think Miami would probably be the one that would stand out the most and could benefit from his services as well. A little bit, maybe LSU, but that seems a little bit of a far stretch given the fact that LSU has really prided themselves on being DBU for sure and throwing a guy. And they're not saying that Koiperich couldn't thrive at an LSU, but given the notorious history that LSU has brought when it comes to defensive backs, it's a bit of a tall task there to try to live up to that hype too. But I'm not saying that he couldn't do it, but I think Miami would definitely be a much better situation for him to not only get recognition, but to thrive at such a place as well.
We'll see how it plays out. We wish him the best, but it's just sad. Like, I want him here. I don't want him going anywhere else. So it is what it is. All right, next one, Voldy.
Heading to the world of the WNBA as a front runner for MVP this past season, and unfortunately coming up on the short end, not only in the playoffs and the MVP voting, but napheesacollier of the Minnesota Lynx, unfortunately, will be missing out on the upcoming Unrivaled season, which did happen, of course, and get started here just this past week after undergoing surgery on both of her ankles, sidelining her for the next 4 to 6 months after a couple of ankle injuries that hampered her throughout the season and actually held her out for a good chunk of the WNBA season. Collier will be out for the next 4 to 6 months. Now, timeline-wise, that does put a few things in interesting hold as well. She'll be probably touch and go with the start of the WNBA season, as that will be drawing here within the next couple of months. But full regard to going back and getting her ready for the start of a new WNBA season. Is it absurd to approve? Will Collier return to the MVP form for the upcoming WNBA season when she's ready to go?
I think she can. Just don't rush her back. That's the main thing.
Right.
Here. I think she needs to go through this process as clean and as easy as they can. And when she is absolutely, positively ready and that we see the progression and good enough to be back in game form and whatnot, it might take a couple games for her to be, getting used to being back in the game again and all that stuff. But I want them to, and they will, knowing what the Lynx have done, and I'm sure, like, Cheryl Reeve's not going to throw her out there if she's like only 85% or something like that. And we all know what happens when we put out players too quickly. Christian Darrisaw, that was kind of a big one for the Vikings. I mean, I'm comparing two different sports, but it's true. If you bring these guys back, earlier than they're supposed to, and they get hurt even worse, then they're going to be out for longer. So you want to do this the right way. I think she will return to her MVP form. It's got my stamp of approval. The big thing that I think the Lynx need to understand too is, people got to step up. I mean, she's kind of been their the big point scorer and been the leader on the team. Now, people have to step up. I mean, I think the ladies will. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. Cheryl Reeve will find a way with this Lynx squad. And, they've proven to be very competitive these past few years. So I would say she will. Just don't make sure she's 100, 100, 100, 100, 100, 100%. And I say that because, she's the franchise. She's the face of the franchise for the Minnesota Lynx. So I think she will return to her MVP form, and it might be a hashtag revenge tour fee, MV fee. So let's go. So, yeah, stamp approval. She will. Voldy, what do you got?
Yeah, I think just not pushing the rehab. I know that she definitely wants to return, and of course, she's probably definitely bummed to be missing out on the unrivaled season for her. That her and Brianna Stewart really got up and running here the last couple of years for the off season, but missing that probably just a small far cry to what she wants to accomplish for the upcoming season. Of course, after the great year that she had early on, even battling through injury to get the get the Lynx in the semifinals, of course, after being the top seeded team all through the regular season. I think there is going to be a little bit of a reckoning here for the league when she does come back, hopefully back to that same form and definitely be much more competitive, but definitely having a much stronger team around her so that way she doesn't have to be that overall force right off the bat will definitely benefit her in the long run, especially for another year. But yes, I think it's got my stamp of approval for sure. She will be back to that MVP form definitely for the season ahead.
Yep, get back healthy. That's all we can ask for. So, all right, next one, Voldy.
Well, heading to the world of the, Olympic hockey, if you will, not quite the NHL, but a strong consideration of NHL players as we prepare for, of course, the Winter Olympics in just over a month's time. Team USA and the hockey program, spearheaded by Wild General Manager, that being Bill Guerin, announced the participants that will be for the upcoming Winter Olympics. That does include a number of notable names and a few players that were held off from the Four Nations face-off team that represented the U.S. just this past season. Some of the notable names for Team USA do include Minnesota Wild center, that being Matt Boldy, Jack Eichel, Jack Hughes, Clayton Keller, Austin Matthews, Brock Nelson, Tage Thompson, the brothers Kachuk. On defense, of course, Minnesota Wild defenseman Brock Faber, and also Quinn Hughes. Seth Jones being an addition, former UND defenseman as well, Jake Sanderson, and in between the pipes does include Connor Hillebuck, former Lakeville, Minnesota native, that being Jake Ottinger, and Boston Bruins goaltender Jeremy Swayman. With the overall makeup of this team, of course, a good consideration of the players that were on the Four Nations team this past season, and some that were held off the roster do include Chris Kreider, Adam Fox, and of course a few notable snubs that do include the likes of Cole Caulfield, Alex DeBrincat, and even Jason Robertson. But overall, with the makeup of this team spearheaded by Billy Guerin, of course getting to be coached by Mike Sullivan for the Olympics, is it absurd or approved? Team USA brings home gold with this roster.
Well, I will throw this out there, and yes, I'm a little biased, but especially that Billy G is the GM of this squad. I think he did a great job putting together this team. I've been seeing on the socials that there were some players that he left off, and people are like, what the hell is he thinking? Why would he, do that and stuff like that? There was a person by the name of Herb Brooks that put together a team, and everyone was wondering why he went with the team he did. Because he goes, I want these players on this team because they're all going to work together as one. Mm-hmm. I think Billy G saw some of these guys, and he had to make some of these decisions. Not saying that this is, in comparison to the 1980 hockey team, but you have to make decisions based on if these guys will work together as one. And quite frankly, I think he did a heck of a job. You have Brock Faber on there. You have Quinn Hughes on there. Yes, they're Wild players and everything like that. But you have Dylan Larkin. You have Austin Matthews. The Tkachuks you have on there as well. Boldy, Eichel. There is enough here, I feel like, and on this roster, and star power for that instance, to get the gold. Now, like you mentioned, there are some that were left off. Jason Robertson, and as Gabs, our good friend Gabs would say, goal Caulfield
Nice.
as well, left off as well. But listen, he has to build. He's got to build the team. Like he said, we have to fill roles. We have to certain responsibilities that go up and down the lineup. That we need players that are elite in those categories. So, he based it off. It's not an easy job, to say the least. I mean, he's got to deal with this, and then he's got to deal with his own team as well. So, I mean, it's not easy, to say the least. But by the roster that I've been looking at, like you've talked about, it's got my stamp of approval. I think this team is gold worthy. In the Olympics. I think they will have a team that is going to compete and, get it done. I know that Sweden won in the World Juniors and everything, but this, I mean, it's different, I know this, obviously NHL and everything like that. You have the World Juniors. But I really like the way U.S. has been constructed, and Billy G, I think, did a great job. So, yeah, it's got my stamp of approval. Voldy, what do you think?
I look at this overall lineup too, and of course there are the notable names that didn't get onto the list there, including another one being Patrick Kane. He was really hoping that he could make it one more go around, I should say, with Team USA and this Olympic run. But I look at this lineup, and you could see guys that can play major minutes on the top line and on the power play, and you see guys that could be mucking and grinding on the third and fourth lines and fighting for minutes too. I see this as also about a cohesive thing. You see guys like Jack Eichel, Noah Hannafin. Of course, they play in Vegas, but they're also Massachusetts guys. They train in the off season. Tage Thompson, Clayton Keller, they played on Worlds. They played in World Juniors. Them and also Austin Matthews, an Arizona guy, they train in the off-season together as well. Of course, you got the brothers Kachuk as well that definitely want to lead the way. Then you've got on the blue line as well, you've got goal scorers, high offensive guys, and you've got guys like Sanderson, very puck-savvy. Jacob Slavin's a very solid stay-at-home defenseman. Werenski as well, that is definitely someone that has really elevated his game the last couple of years. Seth Jones up until the last couple of seasons, up until, heck, even the playoff run where he got a Stanley Cup with the Panthers, he was being highly regarded as a bust after a top overall draft pick all those years ago back in Columbus. Then the goaltending, you get what you get with Connor Hellebuck, of course, reigning Vezina winner, battled through the regular season, got back, and it got the Winnipeg Jets through a good playoff run as well, battling up against Jake Ottinger. Swayman as well is another guy that's highly competitive, but I think it's Hellebuck's net for sure. This team overall put together by Bill Guerin is about a team. It's not just an all-star team. You're not picking all players. You're picking the right players and how they want to develop as an overall unit, as opposed to let's get all the best guys together and figure it out from that point. But each of these guys could play a number of roles as well, and they definitely want to be able to do that too, just to say that, of course, not only represented their country, but definitely will be bringing home a gold for Team USA. Yes, they will be taking home a gold in Italy for Team USA in ice hockey.
I was giving you the stamp of approval. I don't know why it
There you
didn't go
go.
the first time. There you go. Stamp of approval, Voldy. It's going to be tough. It's always tough when it comes to Olympic hockey. Every country's got some really good teams. So it'll be fun to watch. I know that. All right, last one, Voldy.
Well, heading in the world of Major League Baseball, the U.S. Patent and Trademark Office has denied the Athletics, the A's, the formerly of Oakland and now currently in Sacramento, their request to trademark the names Las Vegas Athletics and Vegas Athletics after the ruling that did come in, as the A's were told that the nickname Athletics was too generic and could be confused with other activities if associated with Las Vegas. Of course, this coming off with the Athletics franchise currently in between stadiums from their former home in Oakland and currently stationed in Northern California, now waiting for their new stadium to be built in Las Vegas in the coming years, of course, which they will be playing in not next season or the season after, but 2028 is when they're scheduled to be in Nevada. Now, of course, they do have with the club, which does intend to move to Nevada by 2028, has 3 months from when the refusals were issued on December 29th to ask for an extension to file a new application within a 6-month period. Of course, now with everything that continues to go wrongly for the Athletics franchise, despite all the young and promising talent they do have on their franchise, is it absurd or proof? Will the Athletics have to change their name before they move to Las Vegas?
That's a great question. But Voldy, before we even get into that, we actually have breaking news. So here we go. Gosh, I just love that. I think that's probably one of my favorites when we do our breaking news here. It's been talked about the whole day. It has been talked about literally since this morning. Trae Young wants out of Atlanta. He is getting his wish. He is being traded to the Washington Wizards, the team he wanted to go to for. He's getting traded. CJ McCollum's coming to the Hawks, as long as with some other players as well. So, Trae Young will be a Washington Wizard, yes, in case anybody was caring. I know that there are people like, the Wolves might have interest. No, they didn't. They're like, nah, we're good. He doesn't play defense, so we'll pass. So, anyway, just wanted to bring that up before we moved on. But, this whole A's situation is kind of bad. I'm not going to lie. Like, this whole situation is just absolutely, positively insane. How it all went down and them being denied trademarks now, the mess of trying to find a stadium, and now they're going to be playing in, what'd you say, Voldy? Where are they playing again? Sacramento.
Sacramento, yeah.
Yeah. In Sacramento. I don't know what player would want to go over there, to be quite honest, right now, because no one really wants to be in that absolute crap show over there. I think they will. I think they have to in order to get what they want there, because they wanted to move there, and obviously they can't be, it's all done. I mean, you got to do what you need to do in order to get into Vegas and actually have a baseball park. And, them having that denied is kind of not good. So I think it's got my stamp of approval. They're going to have to if they're going to want to play some baseball. So I'll give it my stamp of approval. I'll give it a short one here. But, yeah. That's just kind of my thoughts on it. Really crazy to me. So, Voldy, what do you got?
I think just with the way things are going here with this franchise and how things have just kind of continued to get even worse and worse, now playing at, in Sacramento, minor league park, and just not great overall for them, but yet they still find ways to draw attention. Of course, they had a great closer in Mason Miller, ended up having to trade him. They got some young talent coming up through the pipeline, a promising shortstop, and Jacob Wilson, I believe his name. I know his dad, Jack Wilson, was one heck of a shortstop back in the day for the Pirates and a couple other franchises. But man, just the fact that you can't get Athletics trademarked, I know it's a little tricky in that regard, but I would not be surprised if the ownership that does want to stick it to Oakland and just of every way that they want to screw over the old franchise, I would not be surprised if they do change their name going to Vegas when they do move in 2028. Will they change the name before they move? Yes. I say stamp of approval, and it's not going to be good. I think it's going to be an awful name for sure.
It's probably going to be the bees, right? You know, get it?
Probably, yeah. Funny story as well. There actually is an Oakland Bees team right now. I believe. Can't remember what kind of every once in a while it pops up on my algorithm or whatever. I don't know if they're like a local amateur team or something, but there is an Oakland Bees apparently. So yes,
I did not
they do
know
exist.
That. What about C's?
Who knows? There could be. Just work our way
I don't
down
want to keep going down this route because it's just we're going to go through the whole alphabet. But great job with I almost said shield shoutouts. Great job with ARA this week. Voldy got a lot of good ones there, and Voldy's got some awesome shield shoutouts tonight, especially some guys we already even talked about. So let's get it going with some shield shoutouts.
Shield shoutouts.
All right, it is time for Shield shoutouts. So Shield, who ya shout out tonight?
Well, of course, we did mention it, of course, with the start of the program. Of course, Tater Tot Hot Take as well. The bittersweet end to the careers, possibly of Harrison-Smith and of cjham for the Minnesota Vikings from the very first day that they walked in and became a member of the Vikings. Impact on, off the field, and certainly enjoyed their time on the field with the production that they have brought, not only as players, but of course as just stalwarts with the franchise as a whole. And hopefully, if their careers do come to an end, thank you to both of them for their time in purple. Did get a message, of course, this past week from a fellow follower and my old baseball coach and of course former teacher Larry Frank, who did actually win one of our weekly giveaways during Pick'em. Sent the kind message of when he won the winter beanie and was a big fan of it, keeps his head nice and warm, and is very thankful for the of course the hat as a whole. So thank you, Frank, for that. Certainly do appreciate those kind words. And also big shield shout out as well to Brian Lommel from Bitstream Digital Media, of those I work with the Granite City Lumberjacks, that puts together all of our video broadcasts as well. We'll be running things for Hockey Day Minnesota coming up here later this month as we'll take on the Rochester Grizzlies. He actually had some new hats made up and actually threw one my way to add to my ever-expanding collection of hats as well. So big shout out to Brian for that. And that is going to do it for Shield Shoutouts this week.
Love the Shield shout-outs this week. And again, like we said, thanks to everyone who played Pick'em this year. It was an awesome season. A lot of I swear, the first place, Voldy, you were in first place. Stuffage, RJ, obviously, who won it. I think Rick's dad was in first place at one point. I mean, it was crazy. It was so much fun. Guys, tell some of your other friends too. I mean, tell family members and stuff. It's easy. It's free. You can win stuff. It's great. It's fun. So shout out to Larry and obviously Harrison-Smith, cjham. Until we get the official deal, we will address it the right way, and we'll talk about it. So shout out to those guys. Great job, Shield. Shout outs as always, Voldy. And you know the deal, guys. We've got that merch. We got some awesome merch. Voldy, I doubt you have an extra hand, so we'll just go with this because I came prepared. Hey. Yes, our new MinneZona hats are available. We have the Minnesota Wild colors. We've got the Minnesota Vikings colors. We've got the Gopher colors as well. But not only that, we have our MinneZona Sports Live. Not like it just says MZ Sports Live. That's what it says. Thank you, Voldy. We'll have a Minnesota Timberwolves version as well. North Dakota version, and what was the other one? Twins. Oh yeah, those lowly Twins. We do have, but still, we love the Twins. We don't like the pole hats. That's all we can really say. But we got those hats, and we have the new winter caps as well. The MinneZona across there, and then the red winter caps are there as well. But we are running out on those, so just FYI. We got the sweatpants. We got the quarter zips. We've got the stickers. Guys, if you want any of those, we can hook you up. We got some awesome stuff to give you guys, and we're looking forward to what's to come next. I mean, there's a lot of things that might be in the works, so keep an eye out. Thank you to National Fleet Graphic for the stickers, and thank you to W2 Performance, our guy, Will Rattel, doing some great things. www.w2performance.com. If you don't want to have a neck, that's the place to go. There you go. I had to throw some fun out there to our guy. Shout out to Will Rattel. And make sure you check out the Brotherly Ballers podcast with Tyler Hermann, Jack Vickers. Even though the fantasy football season is over, it doesn't mean you can't do some playoff stuff too. There's some players that you might want to put in, during the playoffs as well. Win some money. Shout out to TLS Performance, our guy, Troy Stoudemire Jr., the loyal Gopher fan that he is, and obviously former player as well. Shout out to our guy. And make sure you check out our guys at PBL, the Popcorn Bucket List, Nick Dahlhoff, and Rhino Myhrberg, our guy. Guys over at Omni Entertainment. They've got everything up to date. They have a recap of 2025 that you guys should check out for all the movies. I was kind of disappointed, though. I was kind of hoping our episode of our match that we had with those guys. I think it's two separate shows per se, but our match that we had, Kerf Doctor, myself, and we almost brought home the win, but they ended up beating us. But rematch will be coming at some point. So we will get back at those guys. But make sure you check out those guys. YouTube, socials, the whole deal. But with that being said, that'll do it for episode 267. There we go. We don't have to.
There it is.
We went quick. with it. But make sure, check out the NFL playoffs, guys. A lot of great matchups this weekend. Unfortunately, Bears and Packers that we'll have to unfortunately watch. But you know what? If the Packers lose, I'll be happy. That's all I can really tell. But the Bills, the Bills got the Jags. That'll be a good matchup. There's a lot of good matchups. Make sure you check out the wild card. We keep you up to date on Vikings, anything with news, B-Flow, quarterback deals, whatever. We'll keep you up to date. Go Wolves, go Wild. Go Twins. They're doing Twins Fest. Don't know how many people will go there, but that's just, it might be a good time. It probably is. So I'm just throwing shade. Anyway, without further ado, as always, folks, keep in the zone.
Holla!
Thank you for watching MinneZona Sports Live. Join us Wednesdays at 7 p.m. for live show broadcast. And as Voldy likes to say, follow us on all the socials medias.